Yeah. past 5 years, we have witnessed the birth of countless excellent teams and players in all 5 major regions. They are still remembered by us to this day. At the same time, we also remember our fans who loved us from the very beginning. On the occasion of this 5th anniversary, let's turn back the clock to the starting point of PUBG Mobile Esports, the Southeast Asia region, where all the stories began. As the first world-class event, PUBG Mobile Star Challenge gathered professional players from all over the world. With continuous development, the 2019 PUBG Mobile Club Open Global Finals is undoubtedly the most exciting event.
2019 Fall Split Global Finals, ladies and gentlemen, give yourself a round of applause!
Among the countless rising stars, one shined particularly bright. Bigatron Red Aliens, a team from Indonesia,
Bigatron Red Aliens!
just got first place in the PMCO Southeast Asia Fall Championship, earning the chance to compete in the PMCO Global Finals in Malaysia. In the subsequent prelim stage, intense competition kicked off immediately. And finally, they advanced to the Grand Finals in 2nd place. BTR demonstrated impeccable strength in the competition. By the end, BTR was leading the lobby by a significant 106 points, bringing the first ever championship title to the SEA region.
Di saat itu siapa yang nggak kenal dengan nama Bigatron gitu? Tim yang punya segudang prestasi, mereka juara dunia di PMCO Global Finals tahun 2019. Mereka banyak banget melahirkan pemain-pemain berbakat, Zuxi, Luxi, Ryzen, Microboy. Terus habis itu Zuxi, Luxi juga saat mereka menjadi juara dunia, mereka berada di masa prime-nya mereka banget.
PUBG Mobile Esports always strives to develop and grow year after year. That's why we made sure to continue the support and build the SEA region. In 2020, the improvement of the competitive schedule introduced the World League, which later became the World Invitational. We also launched the PUBG Mobile Pro League, where even more outstanding teams joined the competitive stage. In the 2020 PMWL, BTR once again clinched the championship in the East. This had given Southeast Asia the title of the strongest region in the world. They hoped to continue their legacy at the PUBG Mobile Global Championship, the pinnacle of PUBG Mobile Esports. However, BTR was not able to repeat their performance from the previous year.
Two teams is going to take over this round. Winner, chicken dinner, Nova XQL.
With the rise of Team Nova, countless brilliant moments were had, but this also left many players with regret.
After BTR Red Alien won at the Global Championship in Kuala Lumpur, we thought C region was the best. We thought nobody could beat C region, except maybe RRQ Athena, maybe Illuminate the Murder, maybe Mega Conqueror. But C region was the best at the time. And we get to the league. We heard of a team called Nova. We thought maybe this team is not that good. On the contrary, they owned all the teams. They were very good.
Let's move forward to the year 2021. With continuous efforts, more teams and players joined the Pro League. For example, Xavier, who placed 3rd in the 2020 PMWI East League, also secured 2nd place in the PMGC East League. FaZe Clan also made their debut on the world stage.
Có thể nói 2021 là năm thành công nhất của Dingo Xavier trên đấu trường quốc tế, khẳng định vị thế và tên tuổi của Việt Nam vô cùng mạnh mẽ. Còn với FaZe Clan, đây là năm đầu tiên họ đặt chân đến với giải đấu cao cấp nhất của PUBG Mobile, nhưng lại khiến tất cả những đối thủ khác đều phải dè chừng và e ngại.
Undoubtedly, the year 2022 has brought the greatest changes to the SEA region. Vampire Esports emerged, dominating 2022 PMWI, winning both the main and after-party tournaments, while also setting records for most chicken dinners, most eliminations, and more. They were not only facing competitors from the SEA region, but from all over the world. Everyone was talking about VPE and wondering if they can maintain their performance at the Global Championship or if it was just a stroke of good luck. On the last day of the 2022 PMGC Grand Finals, VPE won 3 chicken dinners alone, moving from the bottom of the table to 6th place, achieving the best result for the SEA region. They pulled off another miracle, but sadly, it was not enough to win it all. In 2023, VPE continued their impressive performance. They once again won everything at the 2023 PMWI.
2023 PUBG Mobile World Invitational Champions, Vampire Esports!
ก็ย้อนกลับไปในปีที่แล้วนะครับเอาจริงก็ผมมองว่าน่าจะโอ้โหไม่มีใครที่จะมองว่าทางฝั่งตัวแวมไพร์จะซักเซสได้ถึงขนาดนั้นนะครับเพราะยุคนั้นเหมือนทุกคนจะโฟกัสไปทางฝั่งตัวอินฟินแล้วก็เฟซแคนที่มีแบบว่าผู้เล่นดังๆนะครับแล้วก็ถ้าจำมันได้เหมือน PMGC ปีล่าสุดมากินไก่แบบเบิ้ลติดๆกันในวันสุดท้ายเหมือนเอาจริงน้องๆก็เคยบอกเลยว่าเฮ้ยเราเครียดกันไปหรือเปล่ามันเป็นตัวเองดีกว่าเล่นแบบปล่อยจอยได้แบบจอยเลยสุดท้าย3กระติดจบอันดับ6ของโลกซะอย่างนั้นนี่นะครับแวมไพร์สปอร์ตเหลือเชื่อจัด
But don't forget, Alter Ego, an Indonesian team, showed a very strong performance by winning the Super League twice. The SCA Super League was an upgrade to the previous championship, which by many is considered to be the most competitive league in PUBG Mobile. They could potentially become the next legend of the SCA region.
Untuk dibilang legend, gue rasa belum sih untuk Alter Ego. Walaupun mereka sempat ngedapetin back-to-back champion untuk di PMSL 2023, itu menurut gue hanya sekedar untuk ngasih pembuktian gitu bahwa Indonesia tidak kehabisan pemain berbakat. Ya mungkin contohnya Rosemary gitu. Datangnya dia ke Alter Ego tuh bener-bener jadi ujung tombak untuk Alter Ego. Dan gak berhenti di Rosemary. Masih ada Alpha juga yang didatangkan oleh Alter Ego untuk mengisi kekosongan atau kekurangan dari Alter Ego. Dan gue rasa PMGC 2023 ini akan menjadi ajang global championship pertama gitu untuk Rosemary dan juga si Alpha. Jadi wajib banget kita nantikan performnya mereka di PMGC 2023. Dan please di notes pastikan tonton Alter Ego sampai akhir.
Of course, there are many more teams we haven't mentioned, but these teams will all take part in the 2023 PUBG Mobile Global Championship. So what do you think? Who will be the ultimate winner in this year's PMGC? Will they be from SCA? Well, there's only one way to find out.
Greetings, PUBG Mobile players! The long-awaited Frost Festival is about to commence. In the new version 2.9, we'll be introducing battles filled with a frosty atmosphere. Snow Battle is coming to town. Furthermore, you'll also get to experience updates to World of Wonder and Classic Mode. So let's dive right into it. In the Frost Festival, we'll be bringing you a series of snow-themed content, including a new Snowy Village-themed area, fun interactions with snow pals, and snow-themed items for more gaming fun and excitement. When miraculous December comes, the frosty world will undergo some magical changes. Stay tuned for updates. Don't miss out. First, let's take a look at the new themed area, Snowy Village. The village covers a wide area of 280 by 150 and has loads of supplies. It's located near Stalber in Erringdale, Iceborg in Livik, and Goroka in Vikendi. In addition to the buildings on the ground, the underground area of the Lucky Ice Tower is also worth exploring. Make use of the two-story layout to experience a completely new battle experience. Sound the bell in the Lucky Ice Tower, and you can even summon rewards. Additionally, the village also has a snow rail, which can help you quickly move around and gather supplies. It allows you to navigate flexibly between different areas of the village and also swiftly relocate to advantageous positions during battles for your team to counterattack more effectively. Of course, you should always remain vigilant to avoid becoming the target of an ambush. What's more, the village also features a special two-seat vehicle, the Reindeer. It's also a great choice for transportation as it allows you to swiftly move all over the map. For intense battles, we've also prepared festive and practical battle equipment for you, the Snowball Blaster and Snowboard. The Snowball Blaster can be used in many ways and has loads of functionality. When you aim it at the ground or a building, it can create a snow pile cover for you. When used on enemies, you can temporarily transform them into lively snow pals to restrict their movement. When facing bodies of water, you can use the Snowball Blaster to freeze the surface so that you can walk on it. It's definitely a practical yet entertaining weapon. After transforming into a lively snow pal, you will be unable to use firearms to do battle. You'll only be able to rely on basic actions such as walking, running, jumping, and swimming to evade enemy pursuit. It takes some time before you can revert to your human form. Let's build a snowman together. The snowboard will also bring you a whole new experience. Apart from helping you glide and move on various surfaces, it can also be used with the Snowball Blaster. Explore the many possibilities and use these two items to have all kinds of fun. We've also designed various interactive mechanics, such as searching for snow toddlers, lucky ice, and the Snow Blast Zone. When you encounter a lucky snowman on the map, don't be in a rush to leave. There are 4 lost little snowmen hidden near the lucky snowman. Search for the 4 hidden snow toddlers and bring them back to the large snowman. You'll then receive a token of gratitude. There are lots of lucky ice scattered across the map. Shatter the ice to get the supplies inside. Try using a melee weapon to break the ice more easily. Furthermore, you'll find that snow has engulfed some red zones on the map, and the falling snow will bring about many interesting effects. Players within a snow blast zone will be transformed into a lively snow pal if they're hit by the snow. If the snow lands on the ground, a snow pile cover will be created. In this World of Wonder update, we'll be introducing a brand new transformation skill gameplay and a catch me hide and seek gameplay for you to enjoy the transformation skills to the fullest. Of course, you can also use this skill to create more interesting creations. We've also added a Snowy Village map template to celebrate the Frost Festival with creators. Additionally, we've also made some updates and improvements to gameplay devices, game parameter settings, and the editor. For more details, please follow the official PUBG mobile community. We'll continue introducing the latest WoW content to everyone. As for Classic Mode, we've also made some improvements to vehicles, firearms, creation mode, emotes, settings, and more. First, we've enhanced the designated marksman rifles. Some DMRs can be equipped with the full auto mod to fire in full auto. We've also improved the attributes and handling of some vehicles to enhance your driving experience. We've also added a new garage mechanic. From now on, you can choose your dream ride during matches. Meanwhile, we've also added a custom SFX adjustment feature. You can adjust the volume of some sound effects to whatever best suits you. As for creation mode, we'll be introducing some quick view features for watching the victory dance and fireworks displays and the new Frozen Kingdom themed performance in order to provide players with more possibilities for creative content. Furthermore, we've expanded the emote backpack. Now you can equip more emotes before entering the battleground. That's a wrap for the main content in this new version. In addition, new content will be added to the popularity battle event, Metro Royale, and season rewards. For more details, follow our official PUBG mobile community. Snow Battle is coming to town. Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
In 2020, while the eyes of most PUBG Mobile viewers were focused on Southeast Asia as well as other regions, there was one region in particular that went under the radar, the 2020 EMEA League. Numerous teams from different regions were fighting for a spot in the 2020 PMGC. Among them, the teams from the EU region were the most dazzling. Canina Power, which had previously won 3rd place in the 2020 PMWL West League, managed to break through and eventually won 6th place in the 2020 PMGC. Class Dilge Athletics from Turkey also successfully took 8th place. For the entire EU region, this was a great start, and in the future, the EU region would grow into an even stronger region. The EU region seems to have endless potential. They always have a number of astonishingly talented newcomers. In the 2021 PMWI, in addition to the veteran team Canina Power taking 2nd place, the newly reorganized team in 2021, Next Ria,
Xenox in the smokes, the solo by themselves,
surprisingly won 3rd place.
The EU region seems to just have endless potential. There's always a number of astonishingly talented newcomers coming up through the ranks, developing their skills, and in 2021 at the PMWI, you had some of the veterans there for sure. Canina Power taking 2nd place, an incredible performance coming through from them to get that 2nd place. But not only that, you had the reorganized team for Next Ruya in 2021 who won PMPL Turkey. They came 1st in their region and then were invited on the back of that to the PMWI West to take 3rd place. So these new talents working as this new roster at the time, a phenomenal resurgence there, and there's so much more left in the pipeline, I'm sure, for this region. I'm really excited for what the future has, and I can't wait to see what they've got.
In the 2021 PMGC, teams from around the world gathered once again. First of all, worth mentioning is that among all the participating countries in the grand finals, Turkey had the most with 3. Among them, teams like S2G and Next Ria finished 4th and 6th respectively. This was a massive achievement. The efforts of the EU region are constantly bearing fruit. Now they just needed an opportunity.
2021 yılında Dünya Şampiyonası istediğimiz gibi başlamıştı. Çünkü West aşamasında 3 takımımızı birden ilk 6'ya sokmayı başardık ve büyük finallere 3 takımımızı göndermiştik. S2G 4. olarak buraya katılma hakkı kazanmıştı ve kadrosunda Rip7, Timber, Kalse, Sylas gibi isimler vardı. Büyük finallerde ne yapacağını çok fazla kestiremiyorduk temsilcilerimizin çünkü dünyadaki takımların iyi performansları söz konusuydu. Büyük finallerde temsilcimiz S2G 4. olmayı başardı. Nexu'ya 6. olmayı başardı. Maalesef Fenerbahçe ilk 8'in dışarısında kalmıştı. Ama bu takımın ileride çok iyi şeyler vaat ettiği konusunda herkes hemfikirdi.
Next, let's go directly to the 2022 PMGC. At a time when everyone was focusing on whether Nova could win 3 consecutive championships, a team that was not originally a favorite to win was about to become the focus on the stage. S2G performed consistently in the first 2 days of competition, always maintaining a position at the top of the leaderboard. And on the final day, S2G changed its conservative tactical strategy and sought to gain more elimination points in the last few rounds. And in the last round, S2G secured the championship with 15 elimination points.
The champion of 2022, it is S2G!
They finally broke through and made history for the EU region.
2022 Dünya Şampiyonası bizi büyük zaferler getirdi. Tabii ki Dünya Şampiyonası başlamadan önce bu zaferlerin geleceği konusunda çok bir fikrimiz yoktu. S2G kadrosunda bazı değişiklikler yapmıştı. Takıma yeni katılan oyuncular vardı. Özellikle Reis ile birlikte takımın form seviyesi gerçekten çok yüksekti. 2022 Dünya Şampiyonası finallerine 2 takım göndermeyi başarmıştık. Bir tanesi S2G, bir tanesi Fireflux. Maalesef 2 takımımızın kaderleri birazcık farklı oldu. İlk günden itibaren S2G sürekli olarak zirveyi kovalarken Fireflux için işler iyi gitmemişti. 3. gün geldiğinde S2G güzel maçlar geçirdi ve şampiyonluğu Türkiye'ye getirmeyi başardı. Bu Türkiye e-spor tarihindeki en unutulmaz başarıydı.
This year, the EU region has continuously produced even more strong teams. First of all, G Gladiators won first place at the 2023 PUBG Mobile Pro League Spring Regional Championships and third place in the 2023 PMWI. Veteran teams like Next Ria and Canada Power have been performing better and better this year and successfully qualified for the 2023 PMGC. Subsequently, hot recent teams like Mad Bulls, BRA Esports, Major Pride, Elise Esports, Demorte, among others from EU, have also successfully gotten a spot in PMGC. They all look forward to continuing the success of the EU region in 2023. There are many questions surrounding PMGC. Will S2G successfully defend their championship? Will another EU team lift the trophy? Could it even be a team unexpected to win it all? Let's witness it together in Turkey.
Gold Investigator. Join the Investigator team and let's protect the game's fairness together.
2023 Popularity Annual Gala event tutorial. Hey there, welcome to the 2023 Popularity Annual Gala. We've introduced a brand new competition and upgraded rewards. You will have to go through 10 rounds of 1v1 matches and compete to become the first ever PUBG Mobile Popularity Annual Gala champion. So let's get right to it. New competition, ladder competition. The Popularity Annual Gala event will be utilizing a new ladder promotion system. Players' initial ladder grade will be determined by their battle points at the end of the first round. Ladders are divided into 6 grades: Triple S, Double S, S, A, B, and C, with Triple S being the highest. Ladder promotion rules. Players are ranked based on the popularity they gain during the battle period. For rounds 1 to 9, the ladder results are settled at the end of every round's battle. Apart from ladder grade C, each ladder has 100 spots, with the top 20 promoted, the middle 60 retained, and the bottom 20 demoted. If you're trying to move up the ranks, be sure to stay within your ladder's retained threshold or higher before each round is settled. Additionally, ladder grades can only be promoted or demoted by 1 grade at a time, so your performance in the assignment round is crucial. Be sure not to miss it. Final showdown. Based on the rankings from the previous 9 rounds, round 10 will be the decisive showdown to determine the final rank and ladder grade placement, including the champion of the 2023 Popularity Annual Gala, who will emerge as the ultimate winner. New exclusive rewards. At the end of round 10, rewards will be issued based on the player's ladder grade and final rank. For outstanding players, they will receive exclusive rewards that can showcase their supreme honor both in and outside the game. In-game rewards include the honor title, honor name tag, and honor avatar frame, which are sure to make you stand out. Moreover, there are also physical trophies, interviews, custom-made popularity gifts, official social media promotion, game exposure, and other exclusive honorable rewards. Gain global renown both in and outside the game. What are you waiting for? Participate in the 2023 Popularity Annual Gala now.
Now we are live in Malaysia, Petaling Jaya Battle Arena. It's going to be the last day for the 2023 PMGC League, which is going to be the last chance last chance stage. With me, your host for today, Chichu, joining me on the stage and none other than IHC Alex. Thank you for joining us here. Now, for IHC, you guys are standing literally at 6th place and one step closer to the grand finals. Are you satisfied with your performance yesterday?
За IC танай багийн хувьд бол одоогоор бол 6 дугаар байранд байна. Танай багийн хувьд гранд финалдаа ороход нэгэн алхмын наан зогсож байгаа учраас танай багийн хувьд одоо ингээд өчтөрийн хийсэн тоглолтуудаа сэтгэл ханамж хэр байна.
Бидний хувьд л өчтөрийн хийсэн тоглолтондоо сэтгэл ханамж бол 100% бол биш байгаа. Яг гэвэл бид яг сайн ч биш муу ч яг л дундаж оног аван тоглолт хийсэн байгаа. Тэгээ бяцхан алдаан тас болж энэ алдааг гаргасан байгаа.
About us, we are not 100% satisfied with our yesterday's performance because there was like a little bit mistakes from our side, and today we will be improving on our mistakes. So see us in the game.
Now, can you tell me what are the mistakes that you feel like you have to fix by today?
Танай багийн хувьд ингээд яг ямар хуудаа алдаануудыг засах ёстой гэж бодож байна.
Алдаанууд гэвэл яг зоон шахаж эхлэхээс өмнө жоохон хурдан хөдөлгөөн хийх. Тэгээ хөв тоглогч болгоны бяцхан алдаа одоо илүү үйлдэл тэгээ багийн буруу шийдвэр юм хүнээ засаж бид нар өнөөдөр илүү сайн тоглолт гаргана.
So on our mistakes is like before the zone starts shifting, we were moving on our individual moves, and some individual players were extended peeking on situations that they were not necessary to do. So we will be fully focusing on that situations.
Yeah, I don't blame them. The circle has been really crazy for the past few days. Yeah, now from your opinion, your own opinion here, which is the hardest team to fight in the close quarter combat or CQC? And who do you think will be your strongest opponents to just march into the grand finals?
За, танай багийн хувьд одоо ингээд тулсан тулааныг хийхэд хамгийн хэцүү байгаа баг ямар баг вэ нэ? Мөн танай багийн хувьд топ 5-даа орохдоо ингээд өрсөлдөхөд хамгийн хүндрэлтэй байна гэж бодож байгаа эсрэг өрсөлдөгчөө хэлээч.
Манай багийн хувьд гэвэл яг дэлхийн аргад орж байгаа багуудаас яг хамгийн хүчтэй гэсэн багууд байхгүй бүгд л сайн багууд. Гэхдээ бид нар аль багаас ч яахгүй байна. Яг л бид нар яг 4-4 тоглоод аль багийг ч буулгаж авах чадaltaй. Өөрөөсөө алдаа гарахгүй бол бид ямар ч багийг давж гарч чадна.
About us, we don't think there's like any strong opponent in this PMGC, but every team is equal on their own situations. Like every team is strong right now, but for us, we are not scared of any other teams in 4-4 plus quarter fights. We will be able to overcome any other teams if we don't do any individual mistakes.
No, there must be one team, right? One team. Don't play it safe. There must be one team that you feel like, oh man, you know, we have to fight them. Is there any particular? I'm trying to dig something here.
Одоо ингээд яг үнэхээр ингээд ямар ч баг байхгүй байх гэж боломжгүй шүү дээ. Тэгэхээр ингээд нэг бүр ингээд гүнзгийгээс сэтгэл дотроос ингээд ганцхан багийг нэрлэх байл. Яг ямар баг нэрлэх вэ? Хамгийн сайн гэсэн.
Одоогоор яг сайн өрсөлдөгч гэвэл Фейз кланыг юу нэлээ. Тэдний ротейшн бас хурдан. Тэгээд бид нар ч одоо яг нэг газар бодсон шүү дээ. Жорж Апарт, Жорж хоёр ингээ хуваагаа боддог болсон. Тэгээд тэрэн дээр бид нар байлдах гад өнгийх дүүлж шүү дээ. Дүүлж байгаа байлдах гад өнгийх гэхэд аль хэзээ ротейшн дэгээ явцсан. Тэгээд илүү оноо авалтдаг маш сайн хурдан дүүлж болохоор Фейзийг нэрлэе.
Okay, so if I were to say like there's one team that specifically, I think I will choose Fates because with Fates we share same drop spot, and with that, like whenever we are looting and trying to engage with the Fates, they're always ahead of us, and they always get the points ahead of us in the inside the zone. They get the placement, they get the positions far better than us. So that's what I particularly tell that FaZe is our strongest opponent.
I think you're not the only one because FaZe, with that comeback king moments, they can do anything, anytime. Now, for the last questions here, for the top 3 teams currently, they're aggressively playing without any chicken, but still can score a top 3. It feels like they don't really care that much about chickens anymore. Will you be playing more eliminations as well today?
За одоо ингээд шилдэг 3-т байгаа багуудын хувьд бол ерөөсөө ингээд чики идэ гэж бодохгүй зүгээр л ингээд оноо цоглуулад хурцтай тоглоё гэж бодож байна. Яг тэдний хувьд бол одоо ингээд чики идэх нь бол ямар нэгэн асуудал биш зүгээр л урагслаараа ингээд өөрснийхөө авахтай оноод аваад явж явах болоод байна. Танай багийн хувьд одоо өнөөдөр ингээд яг адилхан нөхцөл байдлыг гаргаж ирнэ гэж бодож байна уу?
Тийм, манай үгийн хувьд бол бид нар kill point-ыг бол маш сайн цуглуулж байгаа. Гэтэ хараахан placement point дээр ерөөсөө оноо авч чадахгүй байгаа. Тэгээ бид нар алдаануудаа баг цагаа ярилцаад өндөр алдаануудаа зассан байгаа. Тэгээ placement point болон kill point-уудыг хосоод маш өндөр оноог авах болно өнөөдөр.
So about our team, yesterday we were mostly getting the elimination points and we couldn't get the placement points that much. But yesterday after the games we were having a little bit of free inside the team and we have discussed about what we're gonna do today. And today we're gonna get both elimination points and placement points. So good. So watch us in the games.
It's all down to the circle and depends on the instincts of the player. Now that's going to conclude for our interview for today. And for today, it's going to be our last day in the last chance stage here. One mistake will be deadly for all the teams. Before we toss it back to the casters, he does have extra talents from Alex. Alex, I heard you want to say something before we end the interview.
Let's do this.
There you go. Toss it back to the casters. Thank you so much, guys.
Okay, all right. You know, Alex, if PMGC doesn't work out for you, maybe you have a future in voice acting. What are your thoughts, Max, man?
Oh, I agree. That was really cool. Yeah, so cool.
There we go.
Really
That's all we've got.
Oh, that's as deep as I can go. Everyone, welcome back to the show here for the final day of the last chance qualifier to get into the PMGC Grand Finals kicking off in just a few weeks' time. I'm Jason. He's Max. And there on the end, looking handsome as ever, is Kalaris. So we're going to break down yesterday's games. And honestly, so you got to hear Alex Kalaris, focus on the placements. That's what we've been saying. That's what they realized as well. Now, can they do it will be a different question.
Yeah, what a big brain comment. No, I digress. I mean, ultimately, they were getting great eliminations across the entirety of yesterday. So much so that, again, a 6th place team having the MVP for the day is extremely unusual. So for them to be able to go out and do that the way that they did, fantastic. But usually, the placement points do come with eliminations eventually if you're able to carry on that trajectory. So, I mean, there's high hopes for them if they continue what I think was pretty decent from them yesterday, all things considered.
You agree, Max?
I agree fully. I mean, they just need to try and reach more podium positions, right, at the end of the day. Maybe even they were too aggressive yesterday. Just got to tone it down a little bit, try and stay stacked as a full team. And if you reach the later stage, as you said, Kalaris, if you get placement points, typically the eliminations tend to naturally start to flow in your direction. So yeah, I think that's the big change for them. And they are just 3 points behind the top 5 position. So chances are we're going to have another Mongolian team alongside Stalwart to make it over in the grand finals, which would be pretty cool.
Pretty crazy considering how many points or how little points they are behind DXavier when DXavier had 3 top 4 finishes and a chicken dinner to boot on top of that. So pretty impressive right scene. We'll see if they can continue that pace today before we can jump into that Infinix GT10 Pro, the official smartphone here at PMGC 2023. You guys can pick it up. It's born for professional esports players and you guys can dominate the lobby with one of those bad boys. I need to get one because, well, as Max has found out, I'm quite trash.
No.
That was mean.
I was setting you up for that to be like, no, Jason. We played some back at the EU champs, and you did pretty well. You had like a 15-elim game, but you went straight for the heart.
I agree. That's the best point you've ever done on this, Jason.
Well, maybe
sometimes it has to be me. Okay.
You know what? That's fine. Someone can upload a compilation of me being mean to you over on TikTok. Make sure to use the tag PMGC 2023 because you can find not only hopefully one of those clips, but some stuff from happening behind the scenes over in Malaysia where the teams are currently playing. So make sure you guys check that out. But in the meantime, here, obviously, FaZe Clan was mentioned during the interview as well as being one of the teams to beat. And Max, you've been a huge proponent in talking about how that last game we had of them on that Miramar, where they're able to change up their style, has completely avalanched into a domination so far in the leaderboard.
Yeah, I mean, ever since that last game of the survival stage, Jason, they've had such a massive change in how they just approach these matches. Placement points, we're not going to cut it anymore. They need to start fragging out. They need to start reaching those late game scenarios. And look, if you look at their final 4 matches here, third place with 9 eliminations, third place with 6 eliminations, third place with 8 elimination, and then the second place with 12 eliminations. That is a complete overhaul of how they were playing the game before this very point of the tournament. And currently with 60 points, Jason, if they maintain even just slightly this kind of consistency heading into today, they're going to go into the grand finals in Turkey so damn easily. So FaZe are looking amazing so far, and I really hope we're going to see a continuation of that new mentality for the team.
And the cool thing is they're not really being fed these situations either. It's not like the circle's just bearing down upon them game after game. They're playing really decent edge sweeping style, which I've always said when it comes to PUBG Mobile esports in general, like when you see this in Battle Royale, this shows extreme quality in skill. The fact that you can sweep the edge, still be able to play with back against the blue, win those fights out, and then move towards the podium, that's some pretty high skill level there from FaZe.
I'm not going to lie. After the first day of survival stage and even most of the second day of the survival stage, I didn't think we'd be talking this highly of FaZe Clan. I didn't think they would even have gotten into this point. But hey, credit to them to make this turnaround happen. And obviously with the results they had yesterday, they put themselves 14 points safe in the bubble. So for them, it's not even about winning matches. It's about surviving. Yes, you get some extra prize money going your way if you do place first. But you know what? Getting into grand finals is what it's really about. But a couple of other teams that maybe are surprising, at least for me, Team Queso. I am honestly surprised to see them in third place with the results we saw in group stage, obviously with the survival stage as well. But look at this, 16 placement points, 36 eliminations, the second highest fragging out team in the lobby right now with some of the best teams in the world. I think that is a true testament to how strong this team can be.
And especially if you look back on their matches of yesterday, they got second place with 13 eliminations on Sanhok. If they can try and hold their position in top 5, Jason, today, it is going to be down to that Sanhok possibly. It is a map where they typically are really good. It's just unfortunate there's just once a day, but they're still going to try and make the most out of that kind of battleground. So yeah, Team Queso has been a big surprise. I'd even go to say that Rook has been a really big surprise for me despite not being in top 5 right now. A team from Africa starting off hot with that chicken dinner. Just need to see more eliminations from Rook compared to some of these teams we're looking at on the top 4 fraggers list. And if they can do that, maybe Rook could also push himself up in the grand final.
Honestly, I'd be concerned if I was anybody from actually BTR Red Villains down. So 4th down. Why do I say that? Well, if FaZe, Persija, or Queso had been able to convert any of those podium finishes that they had into a first place, the gap in points would be significant. And if they continue to play the way that they played yesterday, those 3 teams, and they get at least 1 win on the board today, the gap will be significant. The catch-up will be difficult for the rest of these teams.
And yeah, and to be honest, if we're looking at the overalls and thinking about them, I'm thinking maybe even 10th place right now for Inco, which is at 30 points, might be around the cutoff point. Definitely one below them with Reject at 28 as we fall to 17th after with Gladiators. But it's getting really tough. You cannot afford to have a bad match. And honestly, Kalaris, coming into this after seeing Mad Bulls before, if I were to tell you, hey, at the end of day 1 of Last Chance, they're going to be 13th place with only 16 points, I don't think you would have believed me.
I mean, yeah, I think you said it pretty well in the past couple of days. Like, feast or famine, right, for this team. And I think, unfortunately, at this point, our region might be done for when it comes to the Last Chance. Like, Gladiators and Mad Bulls down there, not really seeing huge glimmers of hope for them just yet. And when it comes to today, when pressure is going to be on, I think that some of those teams at the top, as I say, with all of those podium finishes that they've got, I think they're going to be able to secure their position, shore those defenses up against these teams, which, if you're our Mad Bulls or Gladiators, you need 2 great games to start off just to catch up.
Yeah. When you're looking at a lot of these teams, you could even add to the mix here on top of Mad Bulls and Gladiators, your Duxan, your Nigma Galaxies, your Reject. The thing is, they had a lot of leeway when you started the start of this league stage, right? There was a lot of rotations that were very easy to pull off because teams were maybe a little bit slower, trying to adapt. There's so little mistakes happening in these matches now, Kalaris. Teams are so quick to rotate on circle pops at any kind of situation, taking the best position so quickly. If you're just 10, 15 seconds slower than the majority of the teams, chances are you're not going to reach a top 5, you're not going to reach a podium, and you're definitely not going to get those wins that you desperately need at this point. So, man, teams like Mad Bulls, they're going to struggle because there's just not that much space anymore. They just need to try and be even more proactive, which is easier said than done, but it's what you have to do.
I mean, and knowing one mistake could decide between you getting to grand finals or not is just even more pressure. Fantastic shot coming with the witty there. But still, like, look at Influence Rage, the domination they were pulling off in, obviously, Americas, in the league stage, and in survival stage. they're not safe. They're at 8th place at 41 points. They can easily climb into that top 5. But honestly, it's so scary seeing how many teams are in very close reach of top 5 that I could not tell you who's going to be there at the end of the day.
I really believe, Jason, today the leaderboards are going to be completely scrambled. We saw that at the end of the survival stage, right? Where the teams at the bottom, you saw like Inco as an example, do a massive comeback alongside Team Kesso. I think the teams that are currently not in top 5 have very little to lose right now. You're just going to full send it. If you're Mad Balls, Gladiators, Reject, Inco, you're just going to go giga aggressive, okay? Get all those eliminations and try and reach the late game, because exactly, you only have 6 more matches remaining. At the start of the day, you might try and get some placement points, try and stay relevant in the conversation. On the second half of the day, you need to start blasting from the get-go, because otherwise, a spot in top 5, you won't be able to do a comeback in a game or two. You need to do a really good game followed up by extremely consistent results. Yeah. So the bottom teams, they are going to put everything they have on the table out here on these matches.
I mean, I'm going to anticipate Jason's next question, which is like, okay, what do those bottom teams have to do in order to be able to... No, okay, no. But the point is that we were talking about this yesterday, right? How do you approach a situation where you are so far behind? Do you radically change your strategy and things like that? I don't think you do. I just think you turn your normal playstyle up to 11. Take some of those shots that you wouldn't necessarily normally do, just in case you get a long-range headshot, and then you can follow up on something, right? Because usually you think to yourself, you want to conserve ammo in order to be able to kind of go into the late game. But if you can hit some wild headshots that you might not necessarily take otherwise, and then follow that up on a fight, that could be a few more points here and there, and that could be the difference maker if you are one of these lower teams in the ranks.
You would know what my question was going to be, Kalaris? Okay. Inco, Mad Bulls, Ruins. Is it going to happen again today? 2 teams fighting to get to top 5. Well, which team's going to fall away? Are both teams going to go away from Ruins? Are Enigma Galaxy going to be left wondering, like, hey, where's the fighting? Where's our free eliminations? These are 2 teams who can't afford to have a hot drop go wrong.
I think...
Inco... Sorry, I want to jump on this one, because Inco don't have to drop on Mad Balls and Ruins, and also because they have that hot drop versus IHC in Novo. So, like, they have to change 2 pretty much drops, even if it's a secondary drop in Novo. We need to see a complete overhaul from Inco, because 4 matches out of the 6, if you go for that hot drop situation, you're not going to make it in top 5. So, yeah, they have to change something here. There's so many spots available, so yeah, exactly. Inco, go to the East Coast. It's available. It would be a good option.
Agreed.
Are we going to get a world where both teams just ditch the drop location, considering, well, Mad Bulls are a lot farther behind than Inco. And then they hot drop each other somewhere else on the map, and they're like, guys, what the hell? You're supposed to stay there. We're supposed to move. Honestly, I wouldn't want to be one of these teams, and even if we talk about the leaderboards, Max, and as you mentioned, how quickly they've shifted. I mean, U2 Alliance, after match 3, they were first place by, you know, a decent enough margin. They've fallen to 9th place now, and this is obviously another team, another powerful team looking to break back through in the ranks. And they looked, I'd say, pretty decent overall. We talked about their splits maybe being a little bit too spread on certain matches, but they've looked pretty strong, especially with Olio on the team.
Now, I especially like their Potato Heel finish against Influence Rage, where they went for the push onto Law. I think that was an amazing play. Didn't quite work out, but it was the right approach in that kind of scenario. But I would compare really U2 Alliance to a Mad Balls from the survival stage, in the sense they got 2 second places with 8 eliminations, 12 eliminations. Outside of that, what was there? Not much. We need to see more consistency on their bad games, similar to an IHC, for example, just getting at least 5, 6, 7 eliminations per match. If you can do that, they will very quickly get close to that top 5. So I believe in Alliance here, but it's so close here, Jason. It's really hard to predict.
You know what? We don't need to talk anymore. We want to get into the games. People are always asking, Caster, when match? Well, it's right now, and it's going to be brought to you by Jack and Blank as you drop into Sanhok.
You know, not a lot of people know that, Jason, but behind the scenes, it is actually Blank that controls the start game button. So when everyone's saying that, it's all just directed at you, Blank.
I know, I actually do have just a big red button off to my right-hand side. I can't let you guys see it because it is confidential at the end of the day. I am under NDA about the big red button, so I'm giving you just what I can at this point in time. But I'll be pressing that bad boy very, very shortly as we get into the game. BTR, get ready to go. Superboy, stop dancing, get your headset on, and get ready to go, because it's our final day of Last Chance, Jackie. And we're already in it. Dear me, the game is starting fast. I wasn't ready.
You hit the button accidentally, Blank.
I think I did.
Elbowed it. He
when I was showing it off.
Button. Yeah, he accidentally manhandled it.
I fat-handed it.
Distracted by the dance moves. It happens. It happens, Blank. But this is where it's taken us. Your big red button antics have taken us straight to our last Sandhawk. It feels like it was so long ago we started things, you know, about 4 weeks ago now here on Sandhawk Blank. Now we have our last time we're going to see this battleground in a lobby that has been delicious.
Oh, feels like sadness to me because it's all finishing, but also I'm excited to see which teams do end up in that top 5. We saw just then that Team Queso currently have the highest average here over on Sandhawk. I think it was about 18-point average, maybe a 19-point average there, which is sort of ridiculous overall considering Team Queso is on 52 points. So around about, let's say 60% of their points are coming from Sandhawk so far. So they are certainly extremely good at this one. They're starting things off with a hot drop over towards the Gladiators, who I think at this point in time we could probably consider out of the top 5. So Team Queso just looking to pump their points further versus the team they know to be quite weak.
That's the ideal scenario, really. If Gladiators are going to give them the opportunity, dangling points in front of them here, as Meku has dropped further away from the rest of the pack, so has no trade potential, no room for backup. And it's an easy freebie. They secure that one, grab it in the bag. All Tixie can do is watch down and quake in his boots, knowing that they've already given up some free elimination points today. Inco get the free drop as well on Ruin, so no contest there. Mad Bulls moving off, and that will be a bit of a pass, a little backdoor deal on that one, Blank, for the drop spots.
Yeah, head on to that outside edge. And I think I respect that from Mad Bulls, right? You don't want to go for this same hot drop every single time because honestly, at this point, you could... Nah, that's bad news. You could consistently say that Inco are sort of causing themselves problems with this hot drop, right? If Mad Bulls decided they wanted to go for this one once again and just take their chances on getting those 4 eliminations and getting out of there, you know, that could go either way, right? And Inco would be in an even worse of a deal. Right now, 30 points. They still have a chance to get towards that top 5. Mad Bulls, it's not a similar story at 16 points overall. Like the guys saying on the desk, I think it is sort of over for our region in EU. Sad days. I think it's pretty much donezo for Gladiators as well. With the way this Sandhawk is starting out, that's going to be very bad for the mental game. But for Inco, they claim themselves control of Ruins after some very brute forcing over towards that position of the map. Might give them a better chance here, considering they are actually able to get going fairly quickly without the risk of Nick McGalaxy taking a peek in, who don't even bother with it. They realize they need to have the most unbelievable day if they want to make it into the top 5, which quite frankly, I would say nigh on impossible. Probably a 98% chance that they're not getting in here.
Yeah, it really would have to be something absolutely unfathomable from this game all the way to the end of the day. Back to back, really. We'd need to see non-stop shenanigans from them. So it doesn't seem like it's going to be happening. Thought potentially as well, having a look at the map feed, there was a chance we were going to see a bit of a late play from the Mad Bulls, just sort of guarding for the rotate out through Ruins. But instead, they've taken their time to loot up and just have a little bit of a scouting party. So advanced positions, they'll get a bit of a read on how things are going early, but haven't thrown themselves into a fight versus Inco. They've given them safe passage across the bridge and back up into the zone, where Tixie has now spotted them and got a bit of a read. Meanwhile, Duxan are making a move, though, and could run into the Mad Bulls. So a few potential bits of contact already occurring here as squads are sizing each other up.
And I mean, to be honest with you, a lot of teams have already made that move, right? Influence Rage, passed off from boot camp. They immediately sent across the river towards those eastern compounds in Sandhawk. Reject, similarly, made a rotate through Trifecta. They're on the southern side, so we're cramming a lot of teams into a small space right now. And with Gladiators going down to 2, that does give a lot more room for these other teams to play because you've got your main team that drops over towards that northwest island, already cut down to 2 players, which gives a lot of the other teams on the outer edges easier access to those spots, specifically over towards that little eastern hilltop. That is a really strong position that we know a lot of teams love to go for. DX getting themselves into an engagement. This is off to the western side of Paris Resort right now, as they both attempted to make their way across the North Bridge. Lamborghini, though, takes a heavy hit there from Prepod, and he will hit the second too. So DX going down to 2 players, most likely. It's pretty bad for their run. Remember, they're in 5th place right now, 46 points, 2 players right off the rip here in Sandhawk. And they were playing well, man. I actually really like the way DX has been playing out a lot of these games, but I don't think this team comes online until Erangel, to be quite honest with you. That's where they find the majority of their points. So the midday heightened senses for DX are certainly what we're looking for going forward. So I can sort of understand why they wouldn't mind writing off a Sandhawk like this, but, you know, not getting a huge amount of points here early on is a bit of a struggle for Jackie.
No, you are right, man. You know, they've kind of got their two different forms, right? Sandhawk, sleep. Erangel, excited. That's what we see coming out from DX. That's really where they have been able to... yeah, that's what it's like, man. It feels that, you know, they get the running shoes on. They're holding B blank and they're just running non-stop. It makes a world of difference for them as well. But that is an unlucky start, taking so much damage and being left with only, you know, half of the squad very early into this one as well, because that's the other thing. Well, although we've already seen a little bit of, you know, early combat, we're seeing the way some of these teams are looking coming into it in terms of the body language already. This game hasn't been live for very long. So that's rough for DX. Like you're saying, you're in 5th place and you're only a stone's throw away from falling out of that as well, as IHC are right on your tails. The Mongolian side, 43 points. The DX is 46. So a thimbleful there, and we could see a change. Meanwhile, we see a rotate here through the blue. BTR driving on by. They've got the tunes blaring, some Katy Perry on the radio. So they've been detected, blank, but there's not really much room for the chase just yet. So free info as they go roaming through the map, looking to get themselves situated on their rotate.
Yeah, man, this is threatening Katy Perry, right? You know, you blare it off in the distance. People are like, whoever's playing that, probably we shouldn't mess with them. I'm very confident coming into this game if they're going to be blasting that one out the speakers. That's towards that south side in Sami. You can't quite see them on your screens just yet, but they were rotating on past through Enigma Galaxy. Duxan yet to make a move outside of Ruins, but it's already been picked clean kind of by both Inco and Mad Bull. So Duxan just waiting for their opportunity. There you go. Start to see the BTR boys peek their heads in towards the circle as we head on to our stage 2, which sent us up towards that northern side of the island. So FaZe Clan, after their miraculous results over towards the last 2 games in Miramar, where we know they shine, they get themselves a little bit of luck here up towards that northern edge. So Hatting controlled by them, but a really nice split, I would say, so far. Bit dangerous for Ventores, though. We know that hilltop. I talked about it before. It's very much a focal point for a lot of teams, gives you so much control, but you will have teams fighting for that one. And I don't know if one player is going to cut it, but as a position to hold this early on, and maybe as an anchor point for the rest of the team to regroup on, it's great news.
Depends on how the cookie crumbles then. When push comes to shove, if they can hold the angle, use it to the best of their ability. So far, looks good. Elim feed bodes well for them as they pick up an opening knock onto Brute Force. Brute Force that are currently under an attack from Influence Rage. They've swooped down onto them and done a nice chunk of damage, leaving a couple of the players on their last leg. Similar story, though, for Law, as he's taken a bite back. Going for the quick medic mission as well. They want to reset the fight on this one. You've got other players, meanwhile, duking it out as BTR are taking a ton of damage from the Galaxy boys. So the Cosmos clash continues there. Nice nade round the corner. That's a big pickup that will shut down another man. Brute Force still holding on though, blank. All things considered, they're trying to scrape by on this, but the nades are the difference maker as FaZe are starting to backstab now.
Yeah, this is an interesting push coming from FaZe, and I think you realize that any team that's in this position is sort of in that contention for that hilltop. They've left Ventores up top side. He's returned to the team now. They'll get this third party done and then maybe regroup on that position. This is an extremely aggressive push from FaZe. It's one that can be very risky. They're already losing players here from Udo Alliance as Mela tries to hold down the fort. Mormon's down and out, and they could have maybe just held onto that hilltop, but they got hungry. They got a little bit greedy, whilst Influence Rage handedly takes down the rest of Brute Force here. YDO and Prepod behind the rook. I don't know how many more nades Influence Rage still has on board, but this is an excellent defense from them at an excellent time as well, because Influence Rage 8th place, but very close to moving into that 5th place barrier.
And we know they can do it with the sheer skill they've shown us when it comes to Elims. A team that feels like even when the odds are stacked against them, they play very confidently, very bold into a lot of the engagements they take. In the meantime, though, FaZe starting to take damage in the battle of attrition as the backline is full of other squads. From a distance, you've got Udo Alliance that are just taking pot shots wherever they can see a little bit of skin from FaZe. There was also Rook with Eugene miles away on the other island even, hitting some long-distance shots to punish them and leave their HP far lower than they would like in a position like this. So this fight, now not very sustainable. You know, this has been going on for a very long time. The idea of this being a quick cleanup for Influence Rage and cure a few points from it, that went out the window a while ago. Now you're looking at not making too many mistakes with how many eyes are on you. Fight's not stopping though, Blank, as everyone is scrapping to have some sort of area to play in at this point.
Mate, this is currently a 2v4 going on between Gladiators and Team Queso. Not sure how they've pulled off what they did. Circle's nasty, heads up towards that northeast side. AHC very pleased with this considering they're not quite in yet. More Molotovs sent over the top, not too many nades, but the rest of Gladiators do regroup. Raze is providing that information back. Arta and Big Milo to hold it down in that front line. Another nade goes through, won't find too much damage. A little bit of a tag over towards Tixie, but that's about it. And I think he realizes, get rid of Raze. He's providing too much of that information back towards them. When they strike, they'll know about it. But Team Queso, this is a pretty sad result for them. Remember, this is the team we were talking about, saying that they had one of the biggest percentages in terms of those average points on Sandhawk. To go down versus two players that you already took down half the team from would feel very, very rough. There's still comeback potential there, but with this circle moving up towards the northeast side, both these teams not in the greatest of spots.
No, for pre-pod, it's basically like having a very low-quality barbecue outside, camping by the burned-out car. Just toasting his marshmallows, mate. Yeah, that's all he's got, you know. The family said we'll go on a camping trip. Pre-pod's thinking, oh, this will be fun. In reality, this is the camping trip. It's not ideal, Blank. At least he's warm. It could always be worse. If it was Vikendi, he'd be absolutely freezing.
But there's wolves at the door, or at least at the horrid tent that's been allowed to be brought with them that takes 3 hours to put up, and everyone gets mad at one another as Brute Force attempts to keep control, keep that cool. IHC looking over towards Rook right now. Ziol's in, but the entire room is smoked up. Rami goes down. That will be one player from Rook out here. IHC claiming control over towards the southeast side. They're still on, technically, the eastern island. You got Reject that claim control over the hilltop towards that western edge as FaZe sort of threw this game away. I don't think they had to third party down to Brute Force. If they were able to take down both those teams, fantastic, excellent news. But you gotta know that there is a lot of teams trying to push in from that northeast edge. So the amount of sight lines that are available over towards FaZe where they had barely any cover to work with, it was somewhat of a weird play. Nades coming in. Alex moves into the building, will be immediately knocked here, gets into the smoke, survives for a bit longer, but it's Nenabet Che taking down Tixie on that top side, and Godless with some DBSs coming through the window to try and keep this one alive. Somehow Alex manages to escape, Jackie.
It's pretty heads up as well. They jumped straight on to the revive and reset the fight, knowing they had the smokes down. And Alex was lucky that the smoke was still there to block him as well. So the line of sight not going in favor of Rook. Instead now, just trying to play on the back foot, the defense, as they knew they were being pushed. And IHC come out like the katana, swinging their way through and slicing them in half. They've got a bit of an interview buff today as well on stage, talking a big game. Alex saying that they're not scared of any of the other teams in the lobby. The only mention that he gave was to FaZe. And like you were saying, FaZe, they've basically come into this one and put a big X on their back, Blank. And, you know, other teams have just jumped to the occasion instantly. They've been farmed up with not having enough cover to play off of, thought they found an opportunity to steal away some very easy elims. Instead, the only easy eliminations were on FaZe. And you're just playing with a solo now. You know, effectively, you're thinking maybe you can play some snaky PUBG Mobile, deliver around and pop up towards the end of the game, maybe get a couple of placement points. But having a big earner on the last Sandhawk of the whole event isn't going to be happening for them here.
Absolutely not. This is Prestige Evos up towards the northwest side. They just got themselves out of the blue, but running directly in towards the Mad Bulls, who all have nades in their hands, looking to explode the opposition as they make their way in. Nice setup from Prestige Evos with these backstops, making it very difficult for the Mad Bulls to do anything whatsoever. Exploring the vehicle is good, but a nade in towards the backside will leave Mad Bulls feeling black and blue here. Misery gets burned up. A crucial Molotov comes through. Now Redface has to come in to try and save Face in this situation procedure.
Zuxi, with the Molotov out, everyone's going to be burning behind the rock. The moss is going up. The ecosystem is not doing well for the wildlife, but right now it's Zuxi that burns in his own fire. Gets striked back upon as Zerich head for the encounter. And that's one you can't afford to lose in that manner. It cannot go down that way, Blank. That feels like such a misplay.
That should have been an easy victory for them as well. Mad Bulls were totally struggling on this western edge. But Luxy running into his own molly. The moss a bit more flammable than he expected there. Takes himself down. Flique will drop to the zone. I'm not sure how much life Zerich has got left in him to get further into this match, but they'll be certainly happy with the 4 eliminations, or at least 3 eliminations they're able to garner on that side. Gladiators eliminated 4 eliminations, 14th place, no placement points for them, but at least a little bit of something, but just so unlikely. Reject, though, very pleased with their positioning. I think they quickly identified this spot was open down towards that south side, playing off the back of it. Enigma Galaxy, look at this, Jackie. It's the day 2 buff. It comes in clutch for them every single time. Actually find themselves somewhat of a decent rotate up towards this western side after they were able to take a really good fight versus BTR early on and gather themselves a bit of storm going into this match. But the circle, again, moving away from all these favorable spots towards Udo Alliance and IHC. Very playable position now for both these teams, but they've got to get across first. With the side swipe available for both these squads, it's just a matter of time because you desperately want to get up towards that coastal edge so you can start taking shots over towards teams like Influence Rage, Brute Force, Duxan as they attempt to make their way over towards that coastal side. It's just rough here. Duxan attempting to leave from Hartin, get towards that southeast edge and crush all the teams that are attempting to push their way through Hartin on the western side.
I love how Ventores has been basically like the mosquito that's just whizzing by Enigma Galaxy. He's been kind of just annoying them in the backline, Blank. He's only a solo, but he's been popping up time and time again, just taking shots at them, just being a bit of a nuisance. And they've decided to move because of it, opting to look for some compound control to play with. They funneled themselves into one building, but Lufa's here, big damage done with the big gun, as he leaves them all just clamoring to stay alive. I mean, yeah, they've popped the smokes. They've got themselves tucked into the building and at least probably can reset on the players that have been down. Oh, hello, Squash. He's lived up to his name. He's still alive, Blank. What? He's still alive.
How? What?
He's got steel Kotak boots on, Blank. He's taken it on the chin. He's dead.
I said 3 nades his way. Goodness me, I think the only way that happens is as he's dying, literally in those moments, the stim has to tick him up by like maybe 1% of HP, but he took the vehicle straight to face. Maybe it wasn't going fast enough, who knows, but surviving that is silly.
Left looking like a roll of toothpaste.
Yeah, I mean, doesn't live up to his name because he certainly wasn't squashed in that situation versus Reject, but wow. Well done, I guess, to live the first initial car. I don't even think Reject intended for that to happen either. It was just a bit of a scout, understanding that there's probably teams still on the top side of the hilltop. Just lucky that they get the roll down off the back of it. Circle over towards Enigma Galaxy. Fortunate to get that little shack early on here. Now, a lot of teams will have to push in towards and Reject opt to go for themselves. A little bit of a 2-2 split. Got 2 players still playing up on high, and Influence Rage decides it's a time to put an end to the camping trip on the outside edge.
Oh, they've had enough. They don't want to share the camping grounds any longer. But it seems like Prepod, he's got other ideas in mind, Blank. He wants to be the new landlord. He's grabbed the contract for the camping grounds and he's starting to put his foot down as the DBS sings strong. Federal watching his entire team melt one by one and just sitting in the camp office, just thinking, what on earth do I do now?
Dear me. I mean, for Influence Rage, just the worst happenings there, because they had a chance here to actually play from this southern edge and get into the circle later on, but losing a fight like that versus Brute Force in 15th place certainly hurts your chances a bit. And we know that Influence Rage, they needed to get a move on the team that we had all of our sights on. FaZe out now. Ventores did finally leave our game, with Duxan still taking some good shots over towards Reject. It's our 2-2 that was up towards the western side. They try and put their eggs in 2 baskets here to give them the best chance going forward. I like this play from Sarah and Duello, though. They're going to stay up and high. They're stealing as many points as possible, up to 6 eliminations so far. Can see here, U2 Alliance were the first ones to cross on the bridge. Got up towards that bottom side, but Duxan, still a rough journey ahead of them. You completely exposed these teams underneath the bridge here. IHC still behind them, but living up to what they wanted in the interview, which is get more placement points.
And it looks good for IHC to do just that. They've been so good at getting eliminations, but placements were the thing they could not get their fingertips on for love nor money. So if they can change that today, it could do wonders to keep them so far up in the standings, because this has been a big one so far. 7 elims as well. Duxan might be going the way of the eliminations as they're just eating bullets blank. It's Godless that snatches it as well, so that'll be another one for IHC. Quick reaction from Zara. Wow, straight down. Resets. They've known that they had the entire squad from Enigma Galaxy trapped inside this little shed for quite some time, so they're still just peppering them anytime they peek out. This is a fight that could get a little bit messy though. U2 Alliance on the bridge being ushered into the zone with the blue. Godless and Co from IHC on top. He jumps down. He goes for the acrobatic assault blank, but it doesn't work. 0 pointer on that.
Yeah, I mean, he could have gone for something a little bit more here, but it's Brute Force from Prepod. Forgets about the player from Influence Rage, still inside the building as Federal strikes in a moment. It's YDO to hold things down to 5 eliminations. Nice little play from Influence Rage there to come out swinging. Kept very, very silent for a long, long time. Reject still on that top side. Duello tries to drop off to get into a better spot here. Sarah goes down, and that will be Reject going out in 4th place. But from that high ground position, we're able to steal away a lot of those eliminations here. YDO moves forward. Not a lot of chance to get Prepod back up again. Enigma Galaxy afforded a very nice little win here with the compound. I say compound, the shack they're able to hold on to. They will go down. That's Enigma Galaxy win on the cards. A difficult push for them, a difficult choice to make. Do we take the shack? Is it worth it? And it certainly was here.
Wow, could have been a lot worse as well. You know, when they initially took control of that shack and moved in, they were ruined in terms of the manpower, brought down to just 2 players surviving, but the resilience is shown. And that's a hell of a comeback. That's at least a better game from them. You know, a facelift from what we had yesterday, Blank. If there was a time to put a right foot forward, this is a good one. It's just the fact that the sheer longevity of the mission they've got to go on to make it towards that top 5, it's so hard. It's so unachievable. But if they're getting a start like this, who knows? We'll leave it in fate's hands.
Yeah, their 2% chance. Maybe it's here. Maybe they rolled the dice and maybe they came up with the 6s. We'll have to wait and see it. It's kind of an interesting game, that one, because a lot of our teams towards the bottom side actually ended up doing well in that match. Reject, you know, you saw Duxan get far into that match as well. Brute Force with themselves a 2nd place, and Enigma Galaxy with a chicken dinner. These are our bottom 3 teams, 14th, 15th, 16th respectively. They get themselves a high placement in this game. U2 Alliance certainly benefits from this match as well with their 41 points at the start of the day. That should, I would imagine, with a lot of our teams in the 1st to 5th place going out early on, send them towards themselves a 5th place spot alongside with IHC, who did fantastically well in that last game. Remember, guys, I want to reiterate this. After yesterday, 9 placement points, 34 eliminations.
Man, big numbers, big gameplay, and so much excitement. We've seen a lot of crazy things, so let's go for something a little bit more normal. It's the classic, vintage, dulcet tones of Jason Kaplan and the Deaths. Let's get back over there.
You know, somebody did the El Clasico of PUBG Mobile here, as we did get to see Enigma Galaxy take a start, a win. I'm not going to hype it up too much since they were bottom of the table at like 5 points. But this is the start they need to potentially have a chance to get through top 5. And Claris, we saw the exact same thing happen for them. in our survival stage.
Yeah, let's be real. There is always the potential across 6 games that teams like this, teams who have shown excellence in the past, can make magic happen on a final day. And Enigma Galaxy, they threaded the needle to be able to get to some of these spots because they were coming in late to try and get to these compounds. I was surprised that the compound south of Hartin was open, but they were able to blitz through to it, never mind the shack that was east of that. There's potential magic, not only I would say for Enigma Galaxy, but also maybe from Mad Bulls as well, if they were able to try and move this on, because those are the 2 teams down towards the bottom that I think could make magic happen here in the final day.
A lot of the teams that we already mentioned on the pre-show, and even yesterday, Brute Force also to win 15th position before this. Udo Alliance surviving really fine this game. They were before this match in 9th position, and even Reject, they were in 11th position. So currently, this match has been hot for those bottom teams that need to try and race for the top 5 positions. So I'm loving how this day started, because we said it's feast or famine for these teams. And Coops in particular said, he talked on Twitter, he said everything or nothing. Seems like this game was everything for him. And looking at this head-to-head pre-pod, like the way he cleared Influence Rage with, well, it's a DBS, so of course it's going to happen, but he has been slowly standing out alongside Default as top players from the African region. He's been on fire.
Yeah, he's been putting in some work and definitely been one of the standout players for Brute Force. And obviously they have a lot of work to go, only at 21 points, I believe, at the end of this game. I do want to mention, by the way, as we were talking about teams, up in the top leaderboard and teams at the bottom, a huge game for a team like IHC. They get 10 points with 8 eliminations, 2 placements, and that actually overtakes D Xavier, who only came out with 1 point. So IHC have been able to get themselves through into the top 5, but not only them. Look at Udo Alliance. They were able to jump up as well here into 4th place, and I believe they started off this day at 9th.
We said it, Jason. It's going to be an absolute scramble at the end of the day for these leaderboards. It's not going to look anything alike, I think, what we had at the start of today. And that's it. One good game can catch you up and put you up in a comfortable position. FaZe, Procedure Evos, Team Kesso haven't budged too much, though. And actually, talk about Team... What the hell was happening between them and Gladiators? I have no clue. Gladiators, Papi Potro is split, and yet Gladiators lose 2 players. Team, they are currently the team upsetting Gladiators a lot in these matches, so Gladiators got to adapt a lot heading in the next match.
I think the interesting thing about this, Jason, is top 5, 0 chicken dinners, right? Like, it really shows the emphasis on being great when it comes to gunplay, great when it comes to those team fights, and being able to then eventually convert some placement points from those gunfights that you're seeing play out here. Yes, of course, technically, PUBG Mobile is a survival game, but there's a real emphasis here for these teams that are able to take strong fights, strong positions from those scenarios. So it's not always about the chicken dinner at the very end here, because these teams that have risen to the top, they've shown why they've risen to the top.
Yeah, and I think what's also scary about this top 5 is that you currently have a 2-point difference between 2nd and 5th. 2 points between 2nd and 5th. I'm not sure we're able to say that too often, to be honest. And even in 6th down to 9th, it's a 3-point difference.
There was a highlight as well on that, which showed all like it showed like 1st to 9th, the little bracket, the out border thing that was glowing. But honestly, there is such a chance for teams even below that, if they have an insane day, to be able to jump up. So I think it's a little bit misleading about who could be in the challenge here, because I think, Max, you said, Enigma Galaxy, they were tweeting out that, they think they're coming in hard here for this one. I thought, considering the lateness of them coming into this circle, they weren't exactly coming in hard for this one, but, I mean, they make it work. They make the win happen.
Yeah, I said it like yesterday and even on the pre-show, but I don't know what to expect in terms of who's going to be the top 5 at the end. I think, do we have some maybe like FaZe, Procedure Evos, Team Kesso looking good, but it could be in complete shambles by the end of these next 5 matches here. So it's tough to predict. I'm looking though, looking in the next 3 wrangles coming up. Udo Alliance, they were really good when it came to that map, securing 2 second places and also a decent bunch of eliminations. They follow up this good game with that. I think that they could, on this next map alone, maybe solidify their position in top 5 and then their spot in the grand finals. So, man, Udo Alliance, if they keep these results up, chances are they already got their ticket going their way.
Well, we do have to kind of bring our memory back, but unfortunately not too far, as it was yesterday. We got to see Inko, unfortunately, with another hot drop with IHC. We're going to find out if that's going to happen yet again today. They avoided Mad Bulls this time, but can they avoid IHC? We're going to find out with our commentators, Jackie and Blake.
Okay, the three Erangels back to back then. This is where things normally get a little bit more tantalizing, Blank, the known quantities that start coming out. We'll see, mate, because I feel like, we've already sort of let the lightning out of the bottle with the way the lobby started off. I don't think it's going back in.
No, dude, it's a tricky thing, that lightning bolt is zipping all around the room here as we head into our second game here. Obviously, we talked about IHC as well as Inco over on the desk there. That's potentially a thing that comes through. IHC realized that, that fight between them and Inco seems to be pretty easy a lot of times. They taken down two of their players almost off the bat. I think the only difficult one was their first initial hot drop over towards that team. After that, it seemed easy breezing for them. But heading into the game in just 20 seconds, a lot of these teams strategizing, thinking about what they want to do in this match. For BTR, that last game didn't go too well. Neither for Evos currently on screens. So we'll see what happens. UDO Alliance, though, consistent throughout the entirety of this last chance. Be just what pushes them over towards that top 5 is managing to get towards the end of these games a lot of times. And I mean, for UDO Alliance, they seem like a pretty strong team when it comes to just getting those points on board match after match here, Jackie.
Well, they didn't give up as well. I think that's, one of the bigger points for them is the way that UDO Alliance, it just seems like even when, they're struggling a little bit, maybe, they're going into fights where they should be at a bit of a disadvantage, their heads are still pretty damn screwed on, and they've been able to pull out some consistent results again and again. And having that level of consistency has really done wonders for them. It's been impressive. It really has been impressive to see how far they've been able to push themselves so far. The Malaysian squad that's really been flying the flag high. How much further does their journey take them? We'll see. Any big games in store, or will it just be little points here and there to keep themselves in the upper echelons? Meanwhile, for now, we're into our opening Erangel. We'll see what happens here, namely for one team as well. For my money, it's DX. DX obviously really having an unlucky start to the day. You don't have many games left, with the first Sandhawk basically being a fat thumbs down for them. What can they do here? Normally, a lot more on Erangel.
Yeah, and I mean, for DX, this is kind of where they start to shine, right? I think it's interesting that we do see the highest point average on our angle so far be UDO Alliance, considering they've got 0 chicken dinners. And, speaking about that, right now, we've got 0 chicken dinners across the board for every single team in that top 5, which is sort of curious to me to look at. So very, very interesting in terms of the shakeup, in terms of the point standings. It's just that consistency, which is really taking a lot of these teams further. Inco, terrified of Nova Rep Neuer. Now they drop over towards that trash loot, over towards the western side of prison, and the circle will head hard down towards the southwest, encompassing a little bit of Sosnovka so far here, Jackie, keeping just that in slightly. Gladiators go for themselves some vehicles down towards that south side. Ducksand up towards that northern edge in Ferry Pier, and Team Queso trying to hit a little bit further towards that western edge.
Having a quick look to see if there was any room for some early fights, as we've already seen a couple of them today. Moments where teams know you do have to run a couple of risks. You've got to roll the dice a little bit to guarantee yourself some of those elimination points. But at least for now, it's looking relatively